turn. I already took the neutral turns. So it is the French naval phase. Now, this group is unsupplied, unless I supply them. I don't think I am. I think I have 2, 4, 6 transports here, and I'm going to transport another leader 0 and 6 men. And there's nothing he can do about it. I'm going to go 1. And then 2 into London. I'm going to unload, go 3, 4 back to Boulogne. Okay. Now these guys are automatically in supply. When they get dropped, these will remain unsupplied. And no other navy except, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these. I don't need the escorts to do the transports. I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to take these 2 and put them there because I want to repair these. Put fresh ones right there. So we'll do that. And that's it for the French Navy. Let's go to the attrition. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to do the attrition, the alliance, the movement, and then we'll show you some combat. Now as for the alliance table, I don't want to roll for anything, and I'm not going to roll for Sweden yet. So I'll come back on combat. Okay. Let's see how this battle goes. Okay, moved everybody up. I only had 3 strength points in the force pool. I built them and put them there. Put another leader on there, so they're ready to go. Napoleon is staying in here, getting ready for January. The rest of the army's moving. Supply line, you know, is coming through there. Let's attack this hex. This is very important here. Nelson hasn't been able to break out of the blockade. The question is should the English go inside the city? If they go inside the city, they're going to get besieged. And then they're doubled on the attack, because right now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it is winter. That means their attrition is going to be rough. And this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be double to 8. They're actually going to be the larger, and they have, it's 2 and 2, so they only have 1 morale, 1 leader for 2, and we have Messina. Messina was right here. I brought his men to here, put the leader there, and brought Victor back. That's how Messina got there. And here we're going to have 4. So it's going to be -2 if they assault that. Oh, plus their demoralization. That's right, I forgot. Their morale is 0. And we have to keep them outside, because if they stay inside, we're going to have to roll. No, I'm going to have to go out. We're going to withdraw inside the city. There's nothing else I can do. So, the French say they're going to attack. That means the English become the larger force. The odds are 1 to 1. We have to subtract 2 off this dice. Well, excuse me, the morale is 0 and he only has 1. We have to subtract 3 off this dice. Question is, do I want to put a cavalry charge in here? No, I don't think I will. Wow, what a roll. In 11. Subtract 3 becomes an 8. So it stays 1 and 1. And they will lose a militia, Portuguese. And the French will lose 1. French say they're going to attack again. Now they have 1, 2, 3, which is double to a 6. 2, 4, 5, 6. It's 1 to 1. Now the French are larger. Their morale is still 0. So it's a +3 to this dice. And a 6 and 3 is 9 at 1 to 1. This time the French don't lose any, and the English are going to lose 1. Now it's 4 to 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. It is now 3 to 2. Add 3 to the dice is 9. Now we have a D3. It's still 1. Well, let's roll for, since they're besieged in the city and they're demoralized, we -1 off the dice. Oh, and that cavalry surrenders. So the British force surrenders to the French. And the French have taken Oporto. So now it's a little confusing what happens. According to the campaign rules under Naval Blockade 6, letter B, it says, note, if a port is also besieged, the army units which are inside the city are placed under the same fortress marker. Now, if, however, there is an enemy army strength point inside the city at the end of any combat phase, all blockaded naval units in that city are considered captured, which is exactly what we have here. We have at the end of the combat phase, enemy forces took the port, they're captured. The contradiction comes in, or people could have an issue with point number 12 in the naval rules. It says if any naval units are in a port city that becomes controlled by unfriendly forces. Now I think that's the key. The other rule says enemy strength points at the end of the combat. This says unfriendly, and I'll tell you what I believe that means in a minute. And if the port is not blockaded, the units are immediately moved to the at sea. Well, they were blockaded. It says if the port is blockaded, the naval units must immediately attempt to run the blockade. All fail results are modified to provide the option for the blockading force to attack. During any resulting combat, all retreat results are ignored. Should the blockading force refuse to attack, the running of the blockade is successful. Now what I think this has to do with, and the reason it says by unfriendly forces is, first example, the French know that the Spanish are going to turn on them. So if the French go occupy that port, and the French blockade it, then the port becomes unfriendly. At that point, we would follow the rules of number 12. But since this is not the case, and we were enemies, and it's the end of the combat phase in which the French took the port, we will follow number 6, letter B, the note. So that's what I think it's supposed to mean, even though it can be confusing. So the English fleets become prizes, and Nelson is captured. So once these are captured, we're going to try to hold on to them and tow them out of there. And we have one more combat. We're going to go ahead and tack here. You have 2, 3, 4, and the Spanish have 5. So it's 5 to 5. Your morale, or Portuguese so it's 1. Your morale's going to be 2, and I'll tell you what, we'll do a cavalry charge. So it's even up. Spanish. Oh my gosh. Spanish suck, don't they? D3 for the Spanish. So they'll lose 1. Back yet. So that battle didn't go well. And combat up there now. He will go inside the city. We are going to attack it. You have a morale of 2. I get a morale of 2. So we're even up. And it's 2-1. 7. Large doesn't lose any. Small loses 1. London's taken. That's it for the French. We will move to the English naval phase, and pretty simple here. We need to try to run that blockade. And we need the 6. We don't get it. We need to try to end that English war. We don't get that either. And as far as the Spanish go, just for having a turn, we go down. Now, if I moved Spanish troops, it would go down, but I did not. And I think everything else is going to stay the same. Let me double check. I already moved it down, so the alliance table actually stays on 1. Because I didn't move any Spanish this turn, that helped. Well, the English have an attrition, which, being on map board of 1, means anything but a 6 there. You're good. Anything 6, 7 in your home country, you're good. 1, and your Navy goes where? Your Navy's up to 4, so you go there. And let's go ahead and move with the English. Leave 1 guy there. We're heading back to London. I say I'm going to go inside the city. Some more. It's going to be 2-1 to the French. Now your morale is going to be 2. You're going to have a 4. And I'm going to have a 2. So you subtract 2, 2-1 on the French. Yeah, we can't afford to mess around. Let's do it. Yeah, if I sit there and siege, they're just going to keep transporting over. And because there's no English ships in the English Channel, or they're blockaded, I can just walk men across. Or he sails across. He can bring more men into that port. And he's going to bring a leader. Yeah, I've got to attack it. So, -2 off this dice, 2-1. Large is D1. So the French get demoralized. And small is 1. Yeah, we got to keep attacking. So now it's an 8. Still 2-1. But now your morale goes down 1, so now it's -3 off the dice. 8, 6, 7, 8 -3 is 5 now at 2-1. And it's 1-1. Let's just lay siege to that. We're losing too many men. I can't keep losing those men. You're going to have to roll for morale. And you can minus the leader, which you don't have. So let's see who surrenders there. Oh my gosh. Only 1 surrenders. At the end of combat, you can roll for that siege. And they don't get it. We now hit the winter turn. In the winter turn, let's do the French naval. We're going to take these ships. We're going to sell each one to let's go here. They become captured. I couldn't get one out. I didn't have enough ship for the transport, so it got destroyed. And we need to start repairing. I'm going to transport 3 supply points over with 1 transport. We're going to get rid of the unsupplied marker. And then I'm going to take 2 transports and ship over 4 men, which is what I got right there, and Bernadette. We're going to come to Dover. The transports go back. These men are going into Dover, and those transports go back. There's my 2 damaged ones. Okay. That's it for the Navy. Go into our attrition. Let's roll for production. Alright, we got a 6. So, now we spent 2 production points last turn. We repaired these 2. So let's start repairing this one. It's going to take 3 turns. I'm repairing, I put on for February. It'll take 3 months and it costs 3 production points to repair that. I can do it on the installment plan, but since I don't have a lot to build, and I have 8 land points and 2 naval, I'm going to go ahead and use 1 land, and we're going to use all the French naval points for this turn and pay for the 3. So that one's paid for, and you can only do 1 at a time, so it's kind of crazy. So the English, if they ever break out, they have time to come and try to take their prizes back. And then I'm going to go ahead and spend another land. We're going to try to, for next turn, we're going to repair 2 French ships. And I'm going to use 2 more to repair 2 French ships right here. And that leaves me 5 production. I need to use 4 for here. So I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and use another land production to repair 3 French ships. And we have 4 infantry, which we are going to put, of course, at Boulogne. And that's it for production. And let's start the movement. And then I'll come back with any attacks. Alright, let's see if we can't turn this around as the English. We're going to try to run that blockade. Don't get it. Alliance. Let's try to end that war. Nope. And the Spanish have now switched sides, and they will move the marker over. And they are now anti-French. So the English get them. Let's roll for production. Now they don't own London. Also on the French turn, I couldn't get rid of the demoralization there or there. I rolled very low. But I'm starting to move. Now I think I can end this game by just conquering England. We'll see. Let's roll for production for England. And they have 1 land and 1 navy. Try to get rid of Spanish demoralization, and you can add build, um, you have to build only militia or partisans. I could come out and try to cut off the French supply. Let's try that. Now, this would be 2, 3. We're going to attack this. Let's just go ahead and attack it. Well, you're going to go inside the city. So you're a 2. And you're 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 2 to 1. Morale 1. 2 to 1 minus 1 off the dice. And it's 8 becomes a 7. Large loses none. And the French lose 1. And guess what? French have lost their supply. Just cut the French army out of supply there. I'm going to leave leader A there with the siege. I'm going to take more and move to here. Portsmouth with the cavalry. Let's do that. And that's it for the English. I think that's the best move for me. And we go to a 2 siege for the English. Let's see if we can get that to surrender. 2 or less. 5. Jeez, I can't roll anything for the English. And that ends our November turn. So here we are on the December turn, and there's quite a few decisions that could be made. First, my army in Spain here, the Spanish cut them off, so they're out of supply. The army in England needs to be supplied, and I only have 3 transports. I can't really do both. It's either do this or do that. Last turn, when the Spanish, on the English turn, the Spanish alliance table hit 0. Therefore, rule number 12 in the campaign game comes into effect. The Spanish ships were with unfriendly troops in this port, and since it wasn't blockaded, they immediately go to sea. So we have these Spanish ships sitting in sea. So what I've decided to do, I don't have a leader with this group, so I can't start walking across the strait yet. Now, I did look up the errors that were made on the board. According to the rules, the special invasion of England, you're supposed to go on these brown shaded areas, but they don't have them here because instead they put these arrows. So it looks like from Calais or Boulogne, you can walk across to this hex. But to do that, you have to have a leader. And this person is not in Calais yet, and I don't have a leader there. I'm going to bring Napoleon up. I'm bringing Lands up. I decide I'm going to go maximum effort here because in January, Wellington shows up. So I think I'm going to leave these unsupplied. I looked at it. You're going to have to add 1 for Spain, add 1 because it's winter, and add 1 because it's unsupplied. Now, because you're French and French satellites, you get 1 of those back. So you're going to have to add 2 to the dice. So most likely, these are under 5. I'm going to be losing a troop here, and this one only has 2, so I don't have to roll for it. And I'll probably be losing a troop there. The thing is, I can't attack. I mean, I can attack, but with half strength, so that's what stops me here from getting aggressive. But I think I'm going to supply England, and I'm going to try to get the demoralization off these troops, and I think I'm going to use 1 transport and take Yarmouth. And that's about it. So that's what I decided to do. So we are going to do the naval turn, and all the neutrals have been done. We're going to take a transport and 2 men and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to take these 2 transports and I'm going to run supply 1, 2, 3, 4 of 10 supply points and supply everybody there. So everybody there is supplied. Everybody here is going to remain out of supply. And then the 2 ship. Now here I don't want to come out to the ocean yet because I spent 3 production points last turn to repair these. So, but I think I'm going to try my luck and just bring 2 French ships. Well, I was going to put them here. Yeah, I'm going to bring these 2 French ships and put them there. Just to give that a little more power in case, I don't know what the Spanish are going to do. They're damaged, their morale is 0. I don't know if they're going to try to attack those. Remember, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that'd be a wise choice if I was a Spanish player. Anyways, that's the French Navy. I'm going to go ahead and roll on our attritions. We'll do the Alliance production movement. Like I said, I'll be moving just some troops here. I'm going to try to get rid of that. Well, I'll show you what that roll is now. Remember, I need a 9, and I can add 2 to this dice. And I still don't get a demoralization off. So now, I'm thinking about reinforcing with Bernadette, moving them in there. If I move that group in there, then the demoralization will come off. Or I'm just going to march to London and attack that 0 leader there. I might just do that and relieve London. And then next turn I'll have troops ready to go. French turn, I just did the whole turn. We went and attacked London. There was a demoralizing French force under there that was besieged. Remember, they only had a morale of 1 though. And I couldn't get the demoralization off. But I sent Bernadette, attacked. The English withdrew, and we were able to join up with the besieged forces and remove that demoralization. You've seen the roll for that, it didn't work. Over here, back in supply, I attacked La Romana here, pushed them back. Remember, we're half strength, and I attacked the 1 Spanish holding down Rodrigo here. I lost a man. I rolled 2 1s on their attrition for the French here, so I didn't lose anything on our attrition right here. But we've lost 3 infantry, 1 up there and 2 in the battles here. The Spanish are going to go. Now last turn I didn't do the Spanish right, so that's why you see a force here. Halifax is on the board. Custa's on the board, who I sent to pick up this infantry. Remember, we got a Spanish force here. We got 1 here, we got 1 here, and I built 1 partisan up here. See if I can't threaten supply lines there. Partisans are expensive. They're 6 native production points. So I bought mostly militia in them. Now that was last turn, so the Spanish are still going to go right now, and they're even going to get more. Because when the French invaded them, their force pool grew by 10 militia and 6 partisans. So I should have done that last turn. Anyways, you know, doing everything by myself, hard to remember. So I split the French army that were all heading to Spain. Half of them are still going to Spain. I sent Deval and Lance. They're going to England. So, let's see how things go here. You know, of course, the English. Let's try to do the Navy. And we're going to try to run that blockade. Don't get it, man. Still don't get it. Well, what do I want to do with the Spanish ships? If I try to bring them in there, I do have 2 extra ships that we can attempt interception. But he does block the crossing. That means the men can't walk across. You have to sell them across. I've decided we need to try to make a bold move. We're going to try to take these ships and go over here, since I had moved these ships out here to blockade the transports. If we blockade the transports, then they can't move into England. They can't supply these if we can cut the supply here. So we're going to go for that with the Spanish Navy. So let's take a move, and as they move, they're going to leave this zone and they're going to go into this zone. Now, going into that zone, the 2 extra ships we have here will try to intercept. So you need a 5 or 6. And they don't get it. And therefore, the Spanish ships, oh, and because that left the blockade, it stays there. The Spanish ships left have blockaded the transports. Alright, let's do some more attrition. Anything but a 6 there. Of course they get a 6 now. Take off the land rear. Being here, being winter, you have to add 1. So add 1 becomes a 4. I think you're good. You only have 5. Add 1. And you're going to lose 1, militia. Add 1. You're good. Add 1. And you're going to lose the militia. And let's go to alliance, which we won't have any. Except, let's try to get rid of this war. Ooh, 10. Just missed. Do production. Now the English only have the 1. And they have 1. And they'll go ahead and build a troop. Spanish. And their city points are at 22 right now. Let's make sure where the Spanish production is. It's a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 1. Yeah, 22. Okay. So let's go. 4, 8, 12, 16. Another partisan. For 6 is 22. Okay? Go ahead and stack them with Halifax. You know what? Let me put 1 there. Because there's 6 there, and he'll probably lose them. Let me put a partisan here. I want to try to get the supply in danger. Okay. We'll do some movement, because I got to think a minute what I want to do, then we'll come back. Okay, so the English are done. I decided to take the 1 guy. I rolled so you could remove the demoralization, and it worked. So he just went there, decided to hold that city. So we have these 3 cities held. It's going to be up to the French to try to come and get them. But remember, the Spanish blockaded the transport. They can't get any men across. So that really helped. Because I thought about putting this guy right here, but it'd just be too easy to kill him. I'd like to see the French kind of move out of position if they want anything. I took Castanos and tried to, there's 2 men here. I figured if I can get a devastating roll here, I can cut the entire army off again. It wasn't a devastating roll. The French lost 1, I lost 1. And I'm losing regular Spanish troops, which, you know, of course we will not be able to buy back. So I thought I would stop, but you know what? I think it's worth it to cut off the entire army again. So we're going to go ahead and attack again. Even though it's regular Spanish. So it's 2 to 1, but you have to minus 1 off the dice. and it's 8 becomes a 7. Nice. Spanish don't lose anything, so that was a good move. And we do not have to advance in that hex. I think I'd like to stay right here. 0 goes to the closest city. So the entire French army is out of supply again. So we're just trying to hold on here until we can get some ships back in, get the war done, anything. A new year, we're going to add a squadron on. That's going to help. Anything. So let's keep it up. You know, this may force me, I'm trying to keep this supply line, but I may be forced to pull back and deal with Castanos here. I do have Merrimack coming. He does have 4 men. That's it. We're going to go to the new year. We have to add troops to everybody. Come back with the French's turn.